It's like this. And there you can see what it looks like. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a simple hobo heater from an old paint can. Stay tuned. Many years ago, especially back during the Depression and in much harder times than what we have in our world today, people would often go along the railroad tracks and they would scrounge for bits and pieces of coal that had fallen off of coal trains. It was quite common. They would mound them high, and as the train rattled and rolled and went around curves, you could find coal along the railroad tracks. And it was not only just older people that did it, but they would often send their children out even with buckets or sacks or whatever they happened to have to gather up enough to help keep their house warm as well as to cook with. Of course, the hobos, being used to being on the railroad for many, many thousands of miles, would be very familiar with this practice. And so I want to share with you something that has been used by a lot of people, not only in their homes, not only by the hobos, but also people out in hunting stands and anywhere you needed a cheap and portable, easily replaceable heat source that you could warm yourself up over. You could also do some small cooking with. And I would like to give a shout out to Stephen Parkin. He is a viewer of mine, and he tuned me into this idea. So thanks a lot, and I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. One of the first things that you would do as you were walking along the tracks is you'd keep your eyes open for any large can, like a number 10 can or a paint can, which is what we're going to use today. Oh, there's one right there. That looks to be in pretty good shape. All right, it's a little beat up. It's got a little rust in it, but it looks pretty good for our purposes. And let's get to work and showing you what we need to do with this. The next thing we need to do is we need to put some air holes in this because we want better airflow. Now remember, another heater that I showed you, it did not have any holes in it. And the reason for that is that you wanted to starve that one of oxygen to make it burn longer. Since coal is a very long burning item anyway, it's not really that important, and we do want a little better airflow. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our church key here. This side is the bottle opener, and this is known as a church key. And we're going to go along the bottom here, and we're going to make some holes. Just like that. We don't want a whole lot of them. What we're going to try to do is make them opposite of each other. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, again, it's just something to keep us warm. But keeping things uniform and looking neat just makes you feel better about yourself when you're out and about and trying to survive, especially, you know, in the hobo culture back in the day. They didn't have a whole lot of things going on that could always make them feel that happy about it. So, all right, so we've got 4 holes in the bottom, about equidistant from each other, and I'm going to go ahead and put in 4 more in between those for a total of 8. Interestingly enough, people also used to use things like this in their Model Ts as well as in their sleighs. This was a very common type of foot warmer, it was called, and you would put a bunch of coals in here and put the lid on it. And if you were going to do that, you would want to make sure you didn't have a whole lot of holes here at the bottom, because again, if you're wooden floor in a Model T, you don't want these coals spilling out, or a sleigh or anything like that. So we've got these holes around the bottom, and we're going to put a few around the top, exactly the same. We're going to do 8 of those, and we'll just try to match those to the ones on the bottom. So just go right below that, and just extra airflow for our coal and wood mixture here. By the way, if you're wanting to get one of these old-fashioned can opener, bottle openers, and church key end, you want to find the older ones. The newer ones that are sold on Amazon and places like that are not really worth it. You need to find an old one, and they do have a couple of different sizes. This is a smaller one. Some of them have a slightly larger opening. And this is something that a hobo would carry all the time because it's literally so useful. After offloading the gear, we'll take something like this bag, and we'll go looking along the tracks, and we'll be picking up bits and pieces of coal so that we can have something for our can. So that's part of the trick that you have to have. You have to get some coal. You can still buy it in places. There's a lot of people who even have an old pile of coal back around their barn or on their house. Used to burn coal and they don't use it anymore. You can ask for it. Sometimes it might give it to you for free. But as I said, you can still, of course, purchase this in many areas. Now, to the untrained eye, coal can look just like gravel. As a matter of fact, it's kind of hard to tell the difference, depending on what it is, how long it's been out, how weathered it is. And sometimes you can find it, it's really nice and black, it's fresh, but you'll also find some that can be kind of weathered. And you can get a look at that and you can see what that is. But all right, let's find some. All right, we've got a pretty good bag's worth of it here. And again, how long your hobo heater will burn depends a lot on how much coal you use and the method that you use to keep it going. You know, you would want to obviously make it last as long as you could, and you could always gather more coal, assuming that the weather was decent and you were able to walk along the tracks and do so. Now, coal is itself a little difficult to light, so you have to have something to get it started. And for this, all we need are some dry sticks. So just go along through here and find some stuff that's pretty dead. Got a nice crack to it. It's also got some small things in here that we can easily burn, and we can add sticks to this, and we're also going to use some paper. All right, so we've got our stuff laid out here by the tracks. We've got our bag of coal. We've got some sticks. Relatively dry. It's been raining, it's overcast today, but there's one other thing that we need and that a hobo could find and carry with him, and that is brown paper. Could be from an old paper sack, it could be some wrapping or stuffing, but brown paper was used quite often. You would wrap bacon and all sorts of things in this, and of course you would keep it. And if you had grease soaked, like from a bacon wrap, if you had a grease soaked piece of paper, of course that would burn even better and longer. But what we're gonna do is we've got to get this fire started. And so the first thing you would want to do is you want to start with some paper, and you might have a couple of different pieces in it. You want to make sure, of course, that you don't waste it, because it might be hard to come by, and you want to make sure and keep it dry safely inside your pack. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to get our paper lit, and using our matches here, these are strike anywhere matches, and all you need is a decently rough surface. All right, there we go. Try to keep that out of the wind. It gets going. All right, let's light this down in here. Kind of drop that down in there. Let's see what it does. All right, you can see that. We've got a flame going. Once that gets to where it's going pretty good, we want to take the sticks and put those on top, just like this. And you want to have plenty of sticks handy just in case. Also make sure you have some larger sticks to put in there. And you may have to break them a little bit. It's all right. Get them down in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some of our coal. And you could put as much or as little in there as you wish. Once you get it going, you can keep feeding it. But the important thing is we've got to get this going first. Now once that gets to burning good, you want to get some gloves, and you want to take this and you want to swing it around. It's like this. And what that's going to do is that's going to help those flames catch. Now you can see it's already getting a little oily and smoky, and that's because that coal is starting to burn. So I want to keep spinning it around. Now, one of the best things you can do, and I gotta make this quick because of this heat coming out, is you can take this wire handle off and put about a 3-foot length of wire so your hand's not quite so close to the heat. I can't hold this long, but it's imperative that you have gloves to be able to do this. All right, let's swing it a little bit more. All right, you don't want to breathe that smoke, but we've got a good fire going in there and the coal is lit. Now, if a fella's cold and he's got to wait on a train or he's just out just trying to stay warm, I want to get you a couple of green sticks. Green, of course, because they don't burn through as fast, and you want to put them on top of the can. So you would take your sticks, place them across the opening, just like that, where it's kind of level, and you take your water and your tin cup, place it just like that. And there you can see what it looks like. It's doing pretty good. Still putting off a lot of smoke, but again, when you're out surviving, you can't be too choosy. You just want to stay upwind from the smoke. And here a hobo may set for some time, just enjoying the warmth of the fire, keeping an eye up and down the rails, getting ready to have a nice cup of coffee. All right, well, our simple hobo heater is working quite well. We've got some coffee here, got crayon written on the top, instant coffee. Got our spoon. You want to carry it in a type of press fit lid. That way it keeps it fresh longer. A couple of teaspoons. And you always want to make sure and put that back on there as soon as possible. That way, it just keeps it fresh. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Just about perfect temperature to drink. Let it warm up just a little bit more. And now, we can sit here on the bedroll and enjoy a great cup of coffee. Ah, perfect temperature. Now, another thing I want you to notice about this is even though it's quite smoky at first, once that coal gets going, it just has a long, steady glow of nice heat in there and almost no smoke. As a matter of fact, if we would take these sticks off, these sticks are kind of smoking, just set them to the side, you can see there's not a whole lot of smoke coming out of that, just a little bit. And as long as we're tucked back away and there's not a lot of people around, this is a fairly stealthy way to stay warm for hours and hours and hours. Well, I hope you've enjoyed another foray into the past in the way that they did it back in the Great Depression. Before then, don't know how long ago this was invented, but I'm sure that as long as men have been burning coal, they've been finding ways to start fires and keep it going for a long time. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to finish this cup of coffee. And of course, when you're done with it, you don't want to leave it burning. Find you an old bottle and go fill it up in a creek or a ditch or something somewhere, get some water in it, and make sure and put all the fire out. We don't want to leave any fire hazards for any other hobos or for anybody else coming along, and we do definitely not want to leave any sign that we've been here. So just soak that thoroughly, make sure it's out, and then you can leave the can for the next fella. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll also find the link for our WayPoint Survival digital class. This is where you can sign up to train in the comfort and convenience of your own backyard, the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find where you can sign up for the WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter. Chock full of great information and ideas. You don't want to miss it. It comes out at least once a week, if not sooner, and it's absolutely free. You'll also find where you can sign up for our WayPoint Survival in-person classes, which we teach at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.